Hey, what is up guys? It is Card Shuffler 99 here, and today I'm going to be explaining Eric Jones, his basically card trick that he performed on America's Got Talent. He did this in the AGT Judge Cuts show, so basically I'm going to put this entire trick together for you guys and as quick as I can. So if you guys like this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. If you didn't know, we already do AGT reveals for all the AGT magicians, and yes, we're going to continue till the end of the show. We do have a contest going on the channel. If you guys want to win $50 in gift cards, all you gotta do is like this video, comment something you like about the channel or this video, and subscribe to the channel. The contest will end on July 31st, and from there we will announce who won the contest and who's going to win $50. Now anyway, let's get into the reveal. So basically he did a card trick, and this was more of a color changing card trick where he takes the back of a card, a signed card, and he basically changes the color of the back of the card. So let's talk about how he's going to go about doing this specific trick. So what you're going to need for this trick, obviously, is going to be an opposite colored card. So you notice when he goes to the deck, he basically does have a blue deck, and he's going to go and he's going to pick a card. And like I said, something I do want to mention really quick, a quick disclaimer, is that everything in this performance is going to happen for a reason. So I'm going to keep reminding you guys of that as we go along. So the first thing to note is that he selects the card for the spectator. The spectator is not allowed to select their own card. What does this mean? This means the card that he's selecting for them is already going to have an opposite colored back. Okay, so that's, I think somewhat obvious. Now another thing to note is that he is able to hand out the card at the end of the trick, but he's not able to hand out the two queens. So what that also means is that there's something obviously going on with the queens, but there's nothing really going on with the ace besides the fact that it's an opposite colored back. So once again, he's going to go through the deck and he's going to find his selection right there, and this is the opposite colored back. He's going to have them sign the card, and he's ready for the trick basically. Now, what I have here on the bottom of the deck is I have 3 queens, okay, and I have 2 duplicate queens, and these 2 duplicate queens right here are on the top of the deck here, I guess you could say the bottom of the deck. And basically what he's going to do here, as he sets the ace back onto the deck, he's actually going to be stealing off one of the queens. And you don't notice he's stealing off a queen, obviously, because he has a duplicate queen here. So what he does is he basically comes here, okay, he's got his ace, he obviously doesn't show the back. You can easily just get a pinky break under this card. All you have to do is basically push over and grab a pinky break like that. You don't even have to do that. You can do a pinky count, whatever you want to do. And he's going to place this on top, and he's going to set this down on the table, obviously being cautious not to flash the queen there. Okay, so once again, he has 2 cards here. Now, one thing to note about this card is that it's actually going to be magnetic. Now, if you didn't know, they actually do sell magnetic bicycle cards, and you can actually buy this on Amazon. So if you're interested in buying some magnetic bicycle cards, be sure to check out, I'll put a link in the description where you guys can buy it. But this queen right here is going to be magnetic. The ace is not magnetic, okay? It's just a normal ace. But this queen here is going to be magnetic. And there is one other magnetic card, okay? Now, one of these queens here, doesn't matter which one, obviously, is going to be magnetic, okay? And basically, it's whichever queen goes on top of the ace is going to be magnetic, okay? So what he's going to do here is he's going to take the cards, the 2 queens here. He shows the 2 queens. And what he does is he's going to take the ace here, obviously very cautious, and he's going to place the ace in between the 2 queens. But he's going to do it in a very specific way. So obviously he takes a card, he's going to put the ace on top, and then he's going to put this other queen right there. And he's going to show both sides, but he's going to basically change it just like this. So, like I said, whichever queen is on top is going to be magnetic. So this is a magnetic queen, and this right here is a magnetic queen. So these 2 cards here are actually going to attract one another. Now you notice he's applying a lot of pressure on the cards. Why is he doing this? The main reason is that he doesn't want the magnets to attract just yet. So he's holding very firm on these cards, making sure that nothing's going to happen with the magnets just yet. But once again, these 2 cards here are actually magnetic. Now he can show both sides. And basically what he's going to do is once he releases pressure, and you'll notice he will release pressure to the point where the queen actually starts flashing up a little bit. So if you can go ahead back in the performance, you go ahead and check that. But you'll notice that he actually, when he releases pressure, the queen actually pops up a little bit. And you'll notice that because all that's happening is once he releases pressure, the magnets are going to attract. And if you didn't know, obviously, if you have very powerful magnets, you can actually get playing cards to attract extremely fast. Magnets, obviously, they can attract really fast depending on how strong they are. So if you have really strong magnets, they will actually, basically shoot over as quick as you can. Now, obviously, all that's going to happen basically is this card here is actually going to shoot right underneath the queen, and it's going to make that illusion that the color of the back changed. Now, you'll notice that he actually continues holding it just like this, and he's able to have the spectator basically take this card out and take a look at it, and will be their card. Which is why, obviously nothing else is possible here, because once the magnet and the card shoot, basically he doesn't touch it, and they're basically able to take this out. Now, like I said, they're not able to examine the queens, obviously, because the queens are magnetic, and they'll notice something iffy with it. But once they take the card out, obviously, it's completely examinable at that point. So that's just basically how that part's done. Once again, all he does is he has two basically magnetic queens, and one of them is basically going to attract the covering, I guess you could say, on top of the ace, which is going to change the color of the back. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now we can get on to the second trick. So basically what he does for the second trick, he whips out a hammer and he's going to fold up this card. Now, basically all he does is he's going to get their selected card to appear inside of the buzzer. Now, something you need to keep in mind here, I looked through some comments and I see a lot of people, they're thinking that he just drops the card out of his hand when he hits the hammer down, which is not true. And I'll explain why. So if you want to check all this out, you can always put the video in slow motion, and if you want to look at that way, you can. But what he's going to do is he is going to fold up the card. So he's going to fold up the signed card, and he's going to have a hammer in his hand, okay? And one thing you're going to notice here is that as he's holding this in his hand, and he's saying, he says, watch the card, basically, right? He's going to do basically just a transfer where he transfers the card to the hand with the hammer. Okay, so basically all it does, the card's probably right here, the hammer's right on top of it, he's holding the hammer, and they still think the card's in his hand, and you can actually see him bring his hand over and transfer the card to the hand with the hammer, and that's how he just makes it disappear, right? So obviously that's a really simple part. It's just a quick transfer of the hand, and he basically just puts it right in the hand with the hammer, and just like that, he's able to transfer it and supposedly make it disappear. Now, how does he get it into the buzzer? A lot of people think as he's holding, let's say this was a hammer here, as he's holding the hammer, he drops the card. That is not actually true, and I'll tell you why that's not true. If you watch the video in slow motion, you'll see that nothing is actually coming out of his hand with the hammer. You'll notice that actually the covering of the buzzer does come off, and a card was underneath. Now, keep in mind that America's Got Talent is going to be very, very picky with these kinds of things, and they're not actually going to let Eric Jones break the buzzer. So most likely what they did was, obviously the buzzer basically is just a covering, and as they press it down, it hits a sensor, and then it makes a big buzz noise, right? So basically all that's going to happen with Simon's buzzer here is that they're going to put a fake covering over it. Obviously, they're going to help out the magician before the trick. They need him to perform well. Obviously, if you didn't know, AGT is going to do a lot, all these things to help magicians for the ratings, obviously. So all that's going to happen before the trick starts is he's going to put a random card, a random red card, underneath the buzzer, and the buzzer's going to put a fake shell over it, obviously, so it doesn't, make a giant mess, I guess you could say. So he's going to have a fake card underneath the buzzer, okay? Now, all he's going to do here is with this card, obviously this is the signed card in the hand with the hammer, he's going to have a random card that's already folded up inside the buzzer, and what he does here is as he smacks it down and the card supposedly appears, I guess you could say, once it appears inside the buzzer, he takes it out. There's something very, very specific that you need to notice about the way he does this, and the biggest thing is let's say, all right, so right here he's holding the hammer and everything in his left hand. He takes the piece, the folded piece from the buzzer, he puts it in his right hand, and you'll literally see him handing the piece from his left hand. Okay? Watch very carefully. He does not, you don't even see a portion of time where he obviously picks up the piece, okay, and literally he closes his hand and he hands them a piece as he walks over from his opposite hand. You never see him bringing it here. Obviously, I think, maybe he forgot or maybe something like that, but that was in my opinion, a really bad attempt. He could have at least done a false transfer and, showed, the card in his hand, but he didn't even bother doing that. He literally just had the card here in his hand. He took it and he literally handed them the card from his opposite hand. which obviously was the selected card with the hammer. So the card that was under the buzzer was never shown to the judges the whole time. It was just a random card folded up, and literally all he did was he picked it up and then he handed them the card from the other hand. So that is basically it, guys. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel. I hope you guys understand the general idea of the trick. Obviously, we could be wrong. These are just theories, I guess you could say. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you do, be sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. Obviously, comment down below what you guys think. Do you guys agree with our analysis of the trick? Do you disagree with us? We are very interested to hear about that. But anyway, guys, that is really it for this video. Once again, subscribe to the channel for all AGT reveals. And that's it for today, guys. And this is Card Shuffler 99. Peace out.